I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man.
Welcome everybody to Coffee with Connected. Today we have Cayden Bauschek, and it is so amazing to be here with you today. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to talk about being the face of your brand. And so let's dig deep right into that, Cayden. Let's get this rolling. Yeah. Tell us, what does it mean to you as a salesperson, a sales manager, and tell us a little bit also about yourself before we start. And like, let's kick it off with that. Like, what does it mean to you to be the face of your brand?
Yeah. So for me, I see a lot of consistency issues in the industry today. I see people with a different type of page on a Facebook versus their Twitter versus their Instagram versus their LinkedIn, right? So having brand uniformity, if that makes sense, is something that comes to mind when I think about, being the face of it, because you want to ensure that whenever, you're putting yourself out there for your prospects, your potential clients, that they can see consistency from that. So it's a big deal.
Awesome. And we will get into that a little bit, but tell us a little bit about your career journey at Connected.
Yeah, so pretty crazy ride. I actually got the job off of an Instagram DM, if you can believe it or not.
Wow.
So a good friend of mine goes by the name of Jeremy Miller, was one of our marketing guys back in the day. And I saw him post a video of people like racing what looked like tricycles around the office, like mini little tricycles. And I was like, that looks awesome. Like I need to say something. So I DM'd him because I went to high school with the guy. And I was like, hey dude, this looks awesome. And he was like, well, we are hiring. So 3 days later, I am in the office and never looked back. So it's been just over 2.5 years now. So pretty awesome.
Okay. And in those 2.5 years, have you spent most of the time in sales?
Yeah, actually the whole time. So I started previous to Connected working for another tech company that was local here to Indy. They ended up relocating into Silicon Valley when I was about 18, 19. So I needed to look for a different type of job. And so that's when I found Connected. But sales the whole way through and through for me. Love talking to people, love helping people, and we got a good product to do it. So loved it ever since.
That's awesome. And so today we're talking about being the face of your brand. And what I find very interesting is that we have this brand and then we have our own personality, Right. So in many instances, I think of a brand separate. But then sometimes when it's more personal, like a personal brand, I think about it as the same.
Right.
So what do you say to that?
Yeah. So it's a scary line to toe. And the reason that it's a scary line to toe is because you look at somebody like a Gary Vee, for example, right? There is no line between his personal life and his business because he's sort of adapted to this new, I'll almost say, wave in the era of technology that we live in, where people are craving authenticity like they never have in human history in the day that we live in right now. So to feed that craving that humans have of, needing that authenticity, when you can come in and be transparent and say, hey, I'm Gary Vee, right? I do X, Y, and Z. I'm passionate about all these things, and I run this media company. So I think if you can do it in a way where you're not compromising yourself and being somebody that you're not, I think it is the most effective way to build a brand, is to do kind of a mesh, if that makes sense.
It does make sense because there are so many different platforms, right? Mm. And so you think about it and you look at LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn, you might be one persona. Right. But then on TikTok, you might be somebody else.
Right.
And then on Facebook, you might be more like, this is about my family and me, so it's very confusing. Like, what advice do you give to people on how to streamline all those different messages into one?
Yeah, so I come from a pretty heavy digital marketing background. It's where a lot of my expertise was before I kind of transitioned to the sales side of things. So I had a lot of friends of mine that were running their businesses that were going through a similar struggle of, how do I keep it all straight? And what I found is most effective is finding somebody who knows what they're doing. So, for example, a great friend of mine runs a content curation agency. Essentially, his job is to take you as a business owner, sit you down for an hour, and then he can chop up that hour worth of video into 80 different forms of content. He can share it on all social media platforms automatically. So, all that being said, there are people and processes out there that are literally built for you to streamline that stuff. So my best advice would be to go and, look for somebody who does something on the content organization side, and that you almost have a filing cabinet for it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So like somebody like Gary Vee, and I watch him a lot. I really love him. I think he's great. And he does a lot of personal commentary. He's talking to you directly. Whereas, his businesses, he has multiple businesses, and he's not necessarily talking about his businesses.
Right.
At all.
Right.
He's really talking about people and how to help people, and like really especially looking at younger people and how their sort of mindset is.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, he hits on, and I've had this conversation multiple times with even people around the company here. He hits on the idea of service, if that makes sense. So with business, you can run a business to gain a transaction. I can sell you something just to get the money from it. That's not going to provide the most value in that human to human transaction right there. But if I come to you and I say, all right, Julie, how can I help you? Right? I have X, Y, and Z resources. How can I be of assistance to you with where you're at? And so I think with Gary Vee, the reason that he tries to talk to you and not to everybody is because he wants to go off of that value proposition and lead with helping. Because if you build a business based off of service, it's going to be really hard to fail.
So it's about serving. Again, I mean, we always talk about know, like, and trust. And I don't know Gary Vee, but I feel like I know him a little bit.
Right. Right. You've seen so much. I mean, you've seen the guy screaming at the Jets on Sunday afternoon, right? So you feel like you're just a long lost friend.
I do. And that's why, like, I'm trying to get him on one of my podcasts though. But, and that's the thing. It's like, well, of course, Gary Vee's going to come on my podcast because I know him, but I don't know him.
Right.
And so I'm a few steps away from him, but that's the point. The point is that he's set himself up for that. So now people come to him and like, I don't know what all of his businesses do. I really don't. But I'm sure that if I really wanted to find out, now that I have that persona, that brand that he has,
right.
I can reach out and find out more about what he does. And then if he has an event, of course, I'm going to be like, oh, Gary Vee's having an event. So he's done such a good job. I guess there's the lessons we learned from Gary Vee. Is that that's really what this is.
For sure.
So, so what else? What other advice do you have for, small business owners to really like hone in on their brand, their personality, and getting themselves out there?
Yeah. I mean, I've worked with a lot of even just brick and mortar businesses. I find it that, we call them like the backbone of the economy, right? The people that, when you're looking to go get some good food, you look over in that strip mall and go to the family owned joint. The trick with that is that these people are really passionate about what they do and their business, but they're not necessarily equipped with the knowledge to be able to transition into a digital world. Because if you think about it, a lot of the people that are brick and mortar business owners right now did not grow up in the age of the live stream, the LinkedIn lives, the TikTok, right? They have no idea what's going on. So if there's no one to educate them, it's going to be really hard for them to make that transition. My number one advice to any small business owner that is looking to, get more involved in a digital space or anything like that, you got to help yourself. I know it sounds incredibly harsh, but if you go out there and you look, I can promise you the information's out there for free most of the time. So get on the internet and utilize it.
And, to be honest, like it's really about just enlisting your young people that are around you, because these are the digital nomads. These are the guys that know it all. And what I what I've been watching on TikTok now is the grandmas, the cooking grandmas with their grandson. It's always a grandson. It's not
Yep.
the grand, because I don't know. There's something, I guess, the grandson grandma thing going. But like, I love the fact that these young men have made their grandmothers famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know, like the Nona, she's like, I have 2 million
Yes.
grandchildren, you know?
From,
Oh my,
from Tony, right? I think it, yeah.
yeah. Hello, my 2 million grandchildren. And I'm like, this woman, she has no idea what's going on, you know?
Yeah, right. She has no clue.
No, and you know that like her food is looking really good.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
so we have some questions here. All right,
Yeah.
Crime and Cookie Juice podcast. We have launched a podcast, and I have a book coming out. And we're the stars of Reasonable Doubt. Oh, that's so interesting. How can I get more visibility and brand recognition, even though I have an established career?
The established career sounds like it's packaged as a limiting factor right there, but I would utilize that, because if it were me and I had an established career, I would utilize all the people that I've built relationships with, gotten to know, right? You're always, I think I read an article one day that everybody is 5 steps away from a millionaire in terms of who they know, right? So if you think about it that way, you are literally 5 people away from becoming a millionaire in terms of getting that type of advice, getting that type of help. So you got to push it to people. The closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I would start with the people that I know, that I've built up trust with by doing business with, and then I go from there.
Amazing. Our time is going by so fast. You know what I'm wondering? What?
Too much fun.
I know, it's too much fun. So what I'm wondering is this, before we end today, you know, Connected is this amazing platform. How can our listeners utilize Connected to get more sales?
Yeah. It's the worst to ask me to talk about my own product sitting on a live, and you have to try your hardest not to be salesy. Here's the deal. I started in the digital marketing space, like I said before. I have tried the Facebook groups. I have tried the LinkedIn groups. I tried, prospecting on Twitter, Instagram DMs, all of it. There is nothing that I have seen that has gotten a better return than people who utilize the Connected software in terms of straight conversion percentage. So I come at it from a statistics side. If you go out and you send 100 cold emails today in this marketplace, you might get 1 response. And that response might be, please take me off your list, right? So you go from that to, I know for a fact that if I send out 10 connection requests with Connected right now, I'm getting 5 people connected with me in at least 3 conversations. It's like clockwork. So the trickiest part to get it to that point is just identifying a target audience and nailing down a message. If you have people that you want to talk to and you know what you want to say, we've built a process out of it. It is a literal machine.
Wow. I may need some help from you, Cayden. I'm not going to lie. I have I need to drill down into some more.
It's not like I'm employed to do it. So I don't know if I could do it, Julie. I don't know if I could help you here.
All right. So we are going to get ready to close today. What else would you like to share with our audience before we get done?
I mean, outside of that, just be grateful to people. Try to be gratitude, or try to put out some gratitude at least 2 to 3 times a day. Be nice to other human beings, and get on LinkedIn.
And use Connected, right?
And use Connected, of course, right? I mean, logo, wrong hand, logos here.
I mean, that's why we had that cool theme song.
Yeah, the whole sick
like
transition and all that. Oh yeah.
I think it's awesome. So was there one other question from the audience? Did you see something else going up there? Oh, there it is. Yep. How important is it to be on social media?
I mean, you're leaving free money on the table. If I brought you in front of 2 doors, and on the left I said, all right, that door's got nothing behind it, and then I said, all right, the door on the right has $100,000 inside of it, which door are you going to walk in?
How many times a day should you be posting?
As many as you can without sacrificing your mental sanity. So if you get to a point where it starts to become irritating and you feel like it's a job and you're getting frustrated with it, You don't want to force yourself to continue to do something that you're not going to see a result in and project into a positive light. So I would suggest starting anywhere between 1 to 3 a day if you can keep it there. If you can't, I would say once every 2 days at least.
At least. And what are you finding the best social platform is right now?
LinkedIn.
All right. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, knowledge, and really transparency on what it takes to be the face of your brand. And we will be back next week. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yeah. Thanks so much.